Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 222, written by Thin Man. His friend was casted in a random book he just picked up. I wouldn't say that this was creepy, but it's definitely one of the most quaintly surreal things I've ever experienced. So, back in 2016, I was injured at work, and for about 6 months of my life consisted of going to physical therapy and being confined to bed until I could walk again. With that in mind, I had a lot of time to read books. One of the books that I was reading was Ex-Heroes by Peter Clines. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but when I read a book, I like to cast the characters in my head, coming up with how they look. One of the minor characters in this book was named Ilya, and because I know someone named Ilya, and because the book is set in Los Angeles where I live, the Ilya in my book became the Ilya that I knew in my imagination. But then, something strange started to happen. The Ilya in the book made specific references to movies like Aliens, a movie which the Ilya I know is a huge fan of. The Ilya in the book was a big fan of firearms, as the Ilya that I know is too. Put into words, these details seem slim, but there was something so strange about the character in this book that I eventually reached out to the Ilya that I knew to ask about it. Turns out that he knows the author, Peter Clines, who had put him in the book. What are the odds that I would choose to buy a random book with a story that takes place essentially on my street in Los Angeles and features someone I know in real life as a minor character? That just blew my mind, and it's easily one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had. Case file number 223, written by tornblackjacket. Was it an elaborate crime, a government conspiracy, or even aliens? Not a big believer in the paranormal, so I tried to come up with a semi-rational explanation of what happened, but I'm still very unconvinced and confused, and now I'm just willing to hear everyone else's insights or theories so I can maybe find something I missed. I live with my sister, and neither of us has a car, so we have to walk pretty much everywhere. We also tend to go places together since we don't exactly feel safe by ourselves in our town. Let's just say it's not a nice neighborhood for women to be walking alone. We were walking back from the store and we decided to take a shortcut down this one alleyway. While we were in the alley, I noticed a woman, maybe around our age, so early 20s, walking towards us. We made eye contact and I just froze for some reason. It felt like I'd just been stunned. The woman stopped and started speaking to us, and that's where my memory just sort of goes blank. The next thing I know, I'm in bed and it's 4 hours later. I don't remember walking home or falling asleep. I shook my sister awake and she was just as confused as I am. That woman is also the last thing she remembers, but neither of us can remember what the woman said, just that her eyes were red and her voice was relaxing, I guess. When she walked up to us, I remember feeling like I was on edge, but my body was too relaxed for me to move or do anything. So anyway, we checked the time and we had lost about 4 hours. Our jewelry was gone, and so was the stuff we'd gotten at the store. Also, my sister's wallet was empty. It sounds insane, but it's like the woman hypnotized us and then took our stuff. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. I've been hypnotized before and it felt kind of similar. But I also remember being told that you can only be hypnotized if you give the hypnotist consent. I tried to do a tiny bit of research, and there are apparently some alleged cases of robbers hypnotizing people, but it's never more than one victim. And it's never as dramatic as losing 4 whole hours. Plus, most people will just wake back up where they were standing. I have no idea how my sister and I got back home and into bed. The one person I told said it sounded like an alien abduction, but that's way too far-fetched for me to buy into as a theory. Anyone got any ideas? At this point, I'll even consider really outlandish theories because I'm just totally lost trying to find something rational. Update. People in the comments wanted an update, especially with regards to the drug test we were given to see if we had in fact been drugged. Just as a bit of a warning, this might sound like I'm insane or something. When I made my original post, I was just looking for an explanation. People have given me some rather outlandish theories, which, at first, I didn't see much value in. I figured it would be something like a robbery assisted with the use of drugs somehow. Or maybe it was some form of hypnosis. Now I think there is something really weird going on. so it took a little longer than expected to get the results of the drug test back, but we eventually got called down to the police station to hear out the results, which we thought was odd. We were originally told we'd get our results back via email. When we got there, we were greeted by officers we hadn't spoken to before. It wasn't the ones we had discussed our situation with. Again, not sure if this is normal or not. They sat us down in one of the rooms and told us that our test showed signs of high marijuana and alcohol levels. My sister and I were really confused by this since we don't drink alcohol or smoke, and those don't seem like things we could get injected with or unknowingly drugged with. They essentially said, "We know you were willingly intoxicated at the time of the supposed incident. You spent your money and lost your jewelry somewhere. Then you went back home and fell asleep. No crime was committed." We tried to argue that this was impossible, but they just kept repeating themselves, trying to convince us that our amnesia was just because we were blackout drunk. Then they accused us of fabricating the story about the woman. We were told that if we ever tried to report a crime like that again, we'd be fined or detained for filing false reports. I'm not the kind of person to believe in conspiracy theories, but my sister said it felt like a cover-up, and honestly, I feel like that too. I don't know what to make of this situation, and I feel kind of lost. I have no idea what to do now other than post it here and hope someone can make sense of it. If I can't go to the police, I don't know where else I can go. Case notes, file number 223. Hey, you mentioned aliens, so I have to pop in for just a second. But sadly I have to agree, this doesn't strike me as aliens either, especially with the update. It's clear the cops don't agree with you, but this doesn't really mesh together since, as you say, you don't drink or use marijuana. So how did both of those substances get into your systems? The only thing I can think is that the lady somehow hypnotized both of you simultaneously, perfectly, then injected you both with alcohol and the chemical substance of marijuana so that if you did report it, you'd sound like pranksters filing a false police report for attention. But I mean, that's a level of scheming that puts Mission Impossible to shame. So what else could it be though? The government conspiring to steal a small amount from both of you? Maybe the CIA testing a new weapon out. If you're enjoying this video, consider giving it a like. Now on to the next story. Bonus file, written by thatcanopy. A hidden message in plain sight. In June of 2020, I experienced a miscarriage from an unplanned pregnancy. I found out at 4 weeks exactly, then lost it at 8 weeks. The event as a whole was one of the worst things I've been through, something you can't imagine until you're a part of that unfortunate club. A few months after miscarrying, I talked with my husband about getting a tattoo in remembrance of our loss. I didn't want anything with a name or a date, so I settled on a green gradient rainbow. Rainbows are popular in the pregnancy loss community, and green reminded me of nature and regenerative life. On January 14, 2021, my projected due date, I got the tattoo. It turned out nothing like how I imagined. There were miscommunications on both mine and the artist's side, and I was just so bummed out about the tattoo. After letting it fully heal, I shared my thoughts with my husband and said that I'd like to start the process of getting it removed and trying a different idea. It has such a personal and emotional meaning to me that I really wanted to love it and be so proud to show it off. I'm a hairstylist and I come into contact with lots of different folks, and I'm very accustomed to talking about a range of subjects, even those that are very personal. I haven't shared my miscarriage with many people or clients, but a few weeks ago I did. I found myself on the topic with a girl who I've only seen twice. It was a much deeper conversation than I expected, but not unusual as many people share their lives in my chair. In the mirror reflection, she could see my inner forearm, where my tattoo is located, while I was blow drying her hair, and she asked me what it meant. I told her it was my baby tattoo. "Why does it say hi in it?" she asked. I immediately shot my eyes to my arm and saw what she saw. Holy crap. The area where my tattoo had healed badly now clearly has 2 letters visible. H-I. For 6 months I saw it as a smudge, but now it was so clear. See for yourself. We both sat in disbelief for a moment and got teary-eyed. I couldn't believe that this tattoo had this message on it for months on my own body, and I never noticed it. I showed my husband and he too was in disbelief. There's no way I could intentionally make it heal weird in one spot and have it shape letters, nor could the artist happen to leave this area less saturated than the rest. It has truly shown me the power of our interconnectedness, and I find comfort in the inexplicability. I'm not sure if I will go through with the removal process or not, but I'm definitely proud to show off my message and share our story. Edit. Thank you for the awards and all the kind, supportive words. It's comforting to me to see others find comfort in this too. We are all so connected. It's hard to deny that with stories like this. Edit 2. Thank you again for the supportive and loving comments and for sharing your own stories. I welcome the skeptic thoughts. Others are allowed to have their own view of things, just as I am allowed to have mine. Regardless of how it got there, it brings me comfort, and comfort is something you are desperate for after any type of loss. That being said, I have made healing progress in the years since the loss happened, and it is easier to share and talk about now. We have grown into it and with our grief, and are better people for it.